We'll go ahead and get started then. And I will keep my eye out on this waiting room in case other people hop in. My name is Leslie Tracy. I am the Residential Life Coordinator for Hospital Hill Apartments. So I am one of our professional staff members, but I manage the building that is on the Health Science campus. We have two student leaders with us today, and I will let them introduce ourselves. And then we also have our Associate Director for Residential Life, and I will let her introduce herself as well. So Lauren, why don't you kick it off by telling us your name, where you're from, your major, and which building you live in.
Sure. So I'm a fifth floor RA for Oak Street Hall. I'm an English major and a sophomore, and I'm from KCK, so just right across that state line.
Hi, I'm Ashton. I'm a junior studying nursing. This is my second year at Johnson Hall, and I'm from Springfield, Missouri.
Katie?
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Gary, she, her, hers, and I am the Associate Director for Residential Life, and I've been here at UMKC now for 14 years. I'm originally a St. Louis girl, and so just kind of made my way down Highway 70 and ended up here in Kansas City, and always thought I'd go back, but this place definitely also has my heart, so I'm looking forward to hearing a little bit from Lauren and Ashton and to answer any questions that you all may have today. Thanks for joining us.
This may be an unpopular opinion, but I think you're on the better side of Missouri now.
I would watch that. That's fighting words. Those are fighting words. And so, yeah, it's up for debate.
Mm-hmm. All right, to kick us off today, we're gonna watch a quick video that is a tour of our residence hall. So let me share my screen. We will go to town.
Hi, my name is Haley, and I'm here to give you a tour of our two residence halls on campus at UMKC. Let's take a look. Both UMKC residence halls offer plenty of amenities and conveniences, like nearby parking garages. And the UMKC residence halls are within walking distance of the Country Club Plaza Shopping and Entertainment District. Both UMKC residence halls were built in recent years, and they both have secure access using your student ID as a key card to get into the lobby. And they have desk attendants, just like Annalisa, staffed 24/7. You will have unlimited access to public transportation on the local KC Metro buses. Just bring your ID, swipe, and explore other parts of the city. There is also a UMKC shuttle on a 45-minute loop between campuses. I'm here in Johnson Hall, which is another UMKC building that has received LEED certification for sustainability. Johnson Hall has 3 secure music practice rooms, which is great for our Conservatory of Music students. Now let's go down to Oak Street Hall. Oak Street Hall has a convenient smart market inside. In both residence halls, there are plenty of places to play and study. Now let's look inside a room. Each UMKC student room includes furniture, Wi-Fi, cable hookups, and a mini fridge and microwave. A suite of bedrooms share a private bathroom. Thanks for joining me. We're proud of our residence halls at UMKC, and we hope to see you here soon.
All right. So as I had mentioned earlier, if you have any questions throughout the panel, please feel free to drop those in the chat and we will get to those. So for my two fabulous panelists, why don't you start off by telling us why you chose to why you chose to attend UMKC? I promise I know how to speak. Oh, Camilla, you're here. Hi. So for our 3 panelists.
Okay, well, my financial aid package is amazing. So I'm not going to have any loans or any debt. So that was a big factor for me. And I found that financial aid has been really helpful. And then also, I guess I toured a lot of different campuses because college was a really big decision for me as a first generation student. And UMKC was the first one when I walked onto campus that kind of felt right. And just like walking through the courtyard at Oak Street Hall, walking up the steps of the Union, something just kind of clicked for me. So I'm someone who likes to go with my gut. So I signed my papers like the next week to attend here. So it's been a really great experience.
I kind of wanted somewhere that was close enough to home that I didn't feel like I was going too far, and still with that in-state tuition, but also I felt far enough away that I felt a little more independent. I wanted to kind of, step out and start my life, and UMKC just felt like home.
For me, it's a good combination of the two, what Lauren and Ashton said. I had a great financial opportunity, and UMKC was the best choice for my family and I financially, but also it allowed me to have a space where I could be a college student and explore and learn what I wanted out of life while still being close enough to home where I could visit on the weekends.
Great. Camilla, do you also want to introduce yourself real quick since you hopped in?
Absolutely. So, hi, my name is Camilla. I'm a senior majoring in chemistry with a minor in business and biology. I am a second-year RA here at Oak Street Hall, and I'm really glad to be able to speak to you guys today.
Thank you. All right. So, along the same lines of how you chose UMKC, why don't you tell us why you all opted in to live on campus?
Oh, Ashton, I thought you were going to go. I was like, so I decided to live on campus because even though I only live half an hour away, my parents only live half an hour away, and I grew up in KCK, no one from my high school was coming here. So I didn't know anyone starting out, which was really scary, especially as the first sibling in my family to go to college, the first kid period to go to college. That was a little bit overwhelming. So I definitely wanted to be in a space where a lot of other students were kind of congregated together, and I knew it would be easy to make friends. And that choice definitely paid off for me because I found a really strong friend group really easy on.
Yeah, I really second that. Not a lot of people from my hometown come up here, and I'm meeting more now, but when I was a freshman, there just weren't a lot of people from my school coming here. So I wanted to be able to meet friends. But then also, living 3 hours away from home, it was the easiest option to just live on campus and live with other people than to live alone.
I also really like the convenience of just being centrally located to the student organizations and being able to hang out more time with people. As much as I could have commuted 40 minutes back and forth, definitely would have taken away from time that was very valuable in terms of studying with friends in the library or just like staying after for my GloMed meeting. And I loved having that convenience of just being right in the middle of everything.
I'm kind of surprised that not many of your classmates came here. That's shocking to me. All right. So what can you tell us about what you enjoy most about the building that you live in currently?
I love Johnson Hall. I have lived here 3 years so far, going on 4 years next year. So I, have a lot of love for it. It's a little smaller than Oak Street, which I think is very nice for a more tight-knit community feeling. We also offer lots of living learning communities. So I lived in the biology one my first year, and I was able to meet other students in my major, and that helped my classes go a lot smoother because I already knew people. And it's, is it green certified, LEED certified? I can't always think of the term. But we recycle a lot, and it just makes my heart happy.
Yeah, I lived in Oak Street last year as well as a freshman. So coming back to be an RA in the same building where I did a lot of growth my first year of college was really significant to me. And then also anyone who lives in this building knows that I study in the courtyard like every day that it's above 50 degrees. So Oak Street's courtyard was such a big factor for me. I'm a big outdoors person, and I really was not doing well during those super cold winter months. So it's been really nice to have so many tables out there where I can just like sit out and study, and then like kind of as my residents or like as the other RAs pass by, I kind of start conversations with them. So it's just like the whole building I feel is really set up to inspire that sense of community, with all the different common rooms and everything, and the way that the basement is set up, you can always find people hanging out down there. So it was really easy to make friends.
Actually, during move-in this year, or right before move-in, I had a student tell me that she felt like she was on a movie set when she was in the courtyard of Oak Street. And she's like, I just feel like I'm on a college movie. And I was like, cool, it is very nice, but it was fun.
Yeah, I very much agree with both those points. I love Oak Street Hall's layout. I think it's very convenient for like people to be able to like meet friends and just like hang out. The events that we have in terms of like wing wars, in terms of like our events, like definitely allows you to meet different people, not just like your roommate and your suite mate. Also, Johnson is phenomenal, but we are a little bit closer to like the calf and the gym. So as somebody who doesn't like walking in like high temperatures or like really cold temperatures, a slightly shorter walk always makes a difference for me.
Good. So now thinking about logistics of when you moved in the first time, what are some things that you packed and brought with you that maybe you wish you hadn't?
Don't bring so many like shoes and clothes. You don't really need that much. You will inevitably find yourself wearing like the same 2 or 3 pairs of sneakers or shoes on rotation. Like you don't need to bring your high heels, all your sandals. Have like some business professional clothes or like maybe one formal outfit that you will need every now and then for like an interview or a special event. But you don't need to bring your whole like wardrobe. That's a lot. And then everything you bring, you're going to have to end up taking back home.
Yeah, I would say pretty much the same thing as Camilla. I know I love clothes. So I brought, actually my freshman year, I brought an extra dresser for all of my outfits, which is kind of embarrassing now. But so like kind of to that same point, I would say watch the amount of furniture that you bring, because I had like, I remember I brought like a nightstand that doubled as like a little bookshelf, and like I had like my extra dresser, and I had my lamp and like all this stuff, and it was such a pain to move all of it back out. So really like what I use now in my room is like mostly my desk. I obviously use my bed, and then I use the dresser that was given to me. So like I like to have a nice rug on my floor, but that's really as far as I'm going now and in the future in terms of like bringing extra furniture into this building.
I get very into decorating for different holidays, and so I had lots of like seasonal decorations, which were fun but also terrible to like pack and keep for the rest of the year. Like, where are you going to put that little Christmas tree? You know, like it really added up. So I kind of cut down on my seasonal decoration stash.
So on the flip side of that coin, what is something that maybe you left at home that you wish you would have brought with you?
Definitely my plants. I was not a big plant person actually before I came to college. I killed all of them that I ever had, and now I have 7 in my room. And as someone who like really struggles with seasonal depression, it was so nice to have like just like little spots of green in my room and to have something else to take care of during those long winter months. So like if you're someone who struggles with something similar to that, if it's hard for you some days to get out of bed, especially when it's so cold out, I would recommend getting a plant or two and like putting them right on your windowsill. Just making sure that you're like taking care of something other than yourself can be really helpful.
Bring anything you might need for like a sick day or like a rainy day. An umbrella is a very important tool you will need on those days where it's pouring and you have to get to class. Like hopefully classes will return to being in person. you will want to have something to keep you dry, just from your building to whatever classroom you need to get to. But also just like keep ibuprofen or maybe like some cough drops, because if you're sick, like the last thing you want to do is actually have to leave your room. So just make sure you keep it on you.
I would recommend bringing a fan. I am one of those people that likes to sleep very cold. But even with like the air on, it can get a little toasty. So just an extra fan is nice.
Great. All right, so let's move on to, so you all are currently RAs. So those are resident assistants for our communities. So your first year living on campus, can you tell us how you utilized the RAs in your building?
I'm sorry, Lauren, do you want to go?
You go.
Okay. I ended up having a little bit of conflict with my Suitemates about halfway through the year. And it was really valuable to have my RA there to be able to kind of talk us through conversations and remind us of our roommate contracts and things like that. So we were able to kind of work through all of that.
Mostly for me, it was just showing up to events. And just, I don't know, I really appreciated how my RA would always like post like all upcoming events, even if they weren't ones that she had planned, or even if they weren't even in the residence halls, she would post all of those in the group chat. So for someone who didn't have any of her classmates from high school here at university with her, and it was really just kind of like me and my roommate who were both in a similar situation, that was really great for us to be able to branch out and meet other people.
My RA was studying a very similar subject to mine. She was biology and I'm chemistry. So I was always able to go to her for advice as to what classes I should take, like how I should best approach a professor, how she recommended studying for a certain subject. But also like the whole college experience was very new to like me and my family. Like no one has ever lived on a residential like area in my family. So anytime I needed help or like had a question on how to use a campus resource or who I should even go to, they were my go-to person.
Great. So Lauren alluded a little bit to some events. So why don't we talk about those for a little bit? Why don't you all share what some of your favorite campus events are, whether it's on campus or in our residence halls?
Well, I'm biased, so I'm going to talk about my events for a minute. We actually, Anna, who's another RA at Oak Street, and I did a tie-dye event actually just last night. And our turnout has been really small for events this year due to COVID, and just, the vibe has been off, which is so unfortunate. But I've noticed that a lot of the outdoor events that we've done have done really well. So we had about 20 people like in and out at different times through our tie-dye event. Yeah, and so I think it was really fun for everyone to kind of just do something creative that had like no significance outside of like how good their shirt turned out looking. So that was really fun. And then an event that I remember from last year that my RA helped put on was like a midnight breakfast. So it was actually like at 10:30 at night, because like we all had finals that week. We were not into staying up that late unless we were studying. But the RAs just like cooked breakfast for us. Everyone kind of hung out in the basement and just like ate together. So that was just kind of like a nice, kind of different, very chill, very relaxed event.
We do a building wars every year. So a little healthy competition between all of the different buildings. And this year we did all sorts of fun events throughout the week. We had like Among Us, and we had grocery bingo, and we had a couple other like super fun events. Johnson Hall ended up winning, so we have the trophy right now. But yeah, it's always fun because you get to interact with people from the other buildings that you might not have previously interacted with. And so that's always just a really fun one. I love that one every year.
As someone who absolutely loves breakfast food, I always really enjoyed late night breakfast around finals week. So that's just when the caf would like have a bunch of like eggs, bacon, like cereal, anything you could possibly want. And like late hours, like the week of finals, and a bunch of people just like hung out there. Like they had drawings, they had like fun little games going on. Sometimes like if you left the calf, they would have like other activities going on where you could like get a free massage for like a couple minutes. So that finals week, even though it was stressful, having that support from the university to just like take a moment for yourself, enjoy some good food and get a massage was always greatly appreciated.
Katie and I also serve at that breakfast. So much fun. Cool. All right. So I have seen a couple of questions pop up in the chat about roommates. So let's chat about that for a little bit. Can you talk to us about like a piece of advice in regards to getting along with your roommate?
I had a randomly assigned roommate. I know that my suite mates found each other somehow and requested each other, but I had a randomly assigned roommate, and she wasn't actually my first roommate either. I had a roommate and then we ended up room swapping, not because we didn't get along, but just because my actual roommate had an emotional support animal that her previous roommate was allergic to. But the way we got along very well, and we're best friends now. But the way that we got along very well was just kind of having an open line of communication. We always talked about things in person instead of texting each other. And we always kind of let each other know, if she wanted to stay up late studying, I would ask if she wanted me to keep one of my lamps on, or, having that open communication really saved us from conflict.
Be clear with your communication from the very beginning. I've come to notice sometimes we keep things bottled up, but if you don't tell the person what's bothering you, how are they supposed to know? So from the very beginning, like your residential life coordinators, your RAs will provide a roommate contract where you can like organize information in terms of like, okay, how do we feel about guests? How do we feel about cleaning? And make sure that you're very clear with those guidelines and what you expect from each other. Don't be afraid to make a chore chart. It worked phenomenally for me and my roommates and my suite mates. We just kind of put like a little like chart in the bathroom. We had rotations of cleaning the bathroom every 4 weeks. Make sure like you're clear as to what you're expecting. And if something bothers you, just speak up about it. Don't passive aggressively leave like post-it notes or just like talk to other people, but not the person directly, because that's just gonna like snowball and lead to more issues in the long run.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. If you have a problem with your roommate, do not go talking to mutual friends about it. Talk to them directly about it first. My roommate had her boyfriend over a lot, which was a little different for me, I guess, just because we were sharing like a relatively small space. I didn't know him at all. So we had a rule that he could stay until like 11:30 on school nights or on the weekend. It didn't matter. And then after that, they had to like either go somewhere else or like drive back to his house. But yeah, we were very clear that he couldn't stay overnight, and that like if like during finals week and stuff, we like amended the rules a little bit so that he was only there like until like 8 or 9 o'clock. And also something that was really, really important for us was figuring out who was going to be in the room at what time, because even though this was pre-COVID, she had a lot of online classes, and both of us were people who liked to have alone time. So in the first couple of weeks, it was kind of frustrating when I would come back from a full day of in-person classes, and I would come back to the room like around 5 o'clock, and she would be there the whole time, and she never like really left the room like during the weekdays. So I didn't really get any sort of alone time. So we figured out that like we would take turns like going to the library to study instead of being in the room. We would like use headphones when we were watching movies or whatever, not together. So all of that was really important for our relationship.
Great. So someone mentioned room swap. I think Ashton did. So I'm going to explain what that is really quick for you, because we had a question about if you end up not meshing with your roommates, can you change rooms? And the overall answer is yes. We have an opportunity a couple of weeks into this each semester called room swap season. And it is a chance for you to switch rooms without penalty. And you fill out a form, you talk to your coordinator. The big caveat is that it's easiest if you find someone that you want to swap with, because very rarely do we actually have just an empty space that you can move into. So yes, if you end up not meshing, there is an opportunity to change You just need to typically find a place to swap with somebody else to move. And then there was also a question about move-in the fall. We do not have that date finalized yet, but it will be the week before classes start. So it'll be sometime the week of August 16th. And there should be some communication once we do completely iron out that date, but it'll be sometime that week. And then there was another question about finding roommates. So we do not have a tool necessarily for you all to connect to roommates with. However, if you do have a roommate that you already know or that you meet at orientation and you want to live with them, when you're doing your contract, or you can email us, and you have to mutually request each other, and then we will work to get you living together. If not, we will randomize your roommate in a potluck sort of situation. All right, I think that is the questions being caught up in regards to rooming. So let's move on to, why don't you all tell us a little bit about how you balance your academics and your extracurricular activities and social life?
It's a difficult balance. I have always kind of been that like very academic focused person. And so a lot of times my like social life and my personal life kind of slip. But I found pretty quickly you won't succeed academically if you're not taking care of yourself. And then you kind of need those social moments, even if you're just studying with a friend, where you're like mixing that academic and that social. It'll really just help keep you motivated, so that you're not burnt out all the time.
Learn to trust yourself. I ran into the issue my like freshman and sophomore year where I felt like I was constantly studying and not really dedicating time to myself to just like be a normal human being or a college student. At the end of the day, definitely prioritize like your academics, but there's not a difference between like having a 97 in the class and having a 93. Like an A is an A at the end of the day. So work hard, study, but like also know when you've done enough from the academic standpoint and when you're neglecting your physical and mental well-being. Like you still need to find time to hang out with friends, to go to the gym. Do not be afraid to block time out and have someone hold you accountable. Like make plans for a friend on that Saturday, and then you are mentally prepared to work hard throughout the week to get your homework done, to like study for that exam so that you can enjoy that weekend day with your friend.
For me, it's been about asking for help when I need it. So typically I work 2 jobs throughout the school year and then normally full-time throughout the summer. So that can be very difficult when I'm trying to save up for grad school. I'm trying to figure out like where I'm going to live after I'm not an RA anymore. So just like making sure that I'm able to ask for help from my boss, from my coworkers, like if I'm in a student club or organization and I have responsibilities for that club or organization, making sure that I can talk to like other board members about it and see if anyone can help me relieve some of that stress. And then also like just with my friends, like sometimes you just gotta rant. So just like making time with them to talk about like all the different pressures that we're going through, I found is like really helpful to de-stressing.
Great. So I see another question on here about not liking the food plan. So if you are a resident living with us on the Volker campus, you are required to have a meal plan with dining. There are, however, opportunities for you to cook in your building. There is a large kitchen on the first floor of each building. And then there are smaller kitchenettes on the other floors. And you can, during COVID, we had to check out the keys. In years previous, they have been open for you to use. So I'm not sort of totally certain on what the protocol for using those spaces in the fall will be, but there is opportunities for you to cook for yourself as well.
You can also use your, oh, sorry, Katie. You can use your meal swipes at the Smart Market at Oak as well. Mm-hmm. So if you would rather have some sort of sandwich, salad, frozen meal, something like that, there's opportunities to get that as opposed to the cafeteria meal.
Yeah, there are also opportunities with your meal plan of using a swipe at some of the other spaces on campus. For example, you can swipe one of your meals at Jasmine's, which is a coffee shop, for a sandwich, chips and a drink, and there are other opportunities if you don't jive with the caf.
And you can change your meal plan. Once you select your meal plan, you can change it through the first Friday of the semester. And then after that, you're locked in. But then once the winter break arrives, you have the opportunity to either keep your meal plan or, again, change it the first Friday of second semester. So that way, you know, I think it's a little hard sometimes for people when they make their meal plan selection to really envision, like, what does it feel like to go to the cafeteria 15 times in a week? Or what does 320 meals look like in an academic year? And so once you're here and you actually can live out your schedule and see all the times you're able to go to the cafeteria and, you know, do you have time for breakfast every morning? It's really helpful to then have the luxury of switching your meal plan to either increase or decrease your options.
And then we've got another question here about the 3-person suites. So the 3-person suites are split as in a 1-person suite on one side, and then the Jack and Jill bathroom in the center, and then 2 people on the other. So the person that gets that 1 bedroom is someone that is signing up for a 1-bedroom space with a shared bathroom. So that would still be something that you fill out and prioritize within your contract. Great questions. If you have them, keep on putting them in the chat for us. All right, for our panelists, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you maintain connections to your family and friends back home while you're at UMKC?
Well, I only live half an hour away, so it's not hard. But I guess my youngest sister is 16 years old, so she's still in high school, and both me and my middle sister are here at UMKC now. So I think I know during the first year that I was at college, I still go home about once a month. I'm not someone who gets homesick very easily, but I'll go back to like see my sisters, see like my pets, my parents. So I think the hardest part was that separation from my youngest sister, as I knew that she was going through some of her most formative years of high school, and knowing that I was going to miss out on some of that because I was working 2 jobs, because I was taking a full course load. So I guess the greatest thing has been technology, like being able to FaceTime her like a couple times a week. She'll text me all the time. She'll Snapchat me. We send each other all the latest news on Taylor Swift. She's obsessed with Taylor Swift. So every time that Taylor releases an album, we listen to it together. And then I have to give her my thoughts and opinions like directly afterward. So I guess just like finding the mode of like sharing and keeping that connection that works best for you, because for you, it might not be FaceTime calls, like it might not be sharing albums, but just like for each individual person in your life, like finding the best way that you can connect with them.
Great. I love that you guys connect over T-Swift.
I also go home about once a month to see my family. I am very close to my family, so it means a lot to be able to talk to them. I also bug my mom like every day. I have to tell her everything that I'm doing and that I'm eating and what my cat is doing and like every little information ever. I'm also in a long distance relationship, and I have been since I started college, which is super difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. Especially, you know, he lives 9 hours away. So that's very difficult, but it's also very doable. I've got to thank FaceTime and, you know, like Discord and things like that for all of that. And then a lot of my friends live super far away too. So, you know, technology is my savior in all of this.
Camilla, do you have anything else to add?
Not much else to add. I also kind of live close to home. I'm like 40 minutes away. So anytime I'm just like, wow, I really want a home cooked meal, or like, I miss my mom. I kind of want to catch up over coffee. Like, I just visit really quickly, go to play with my dogs. Or I'll like have my friends come up to KC. Like that's the benefit of being at UMKC. Like you're so centrally located to so many like cool coffee shops and so many cool things that like when I miss my high school friends, they come visit me, and then like I kind of just like, hey, I'll be your little tour guide for the day. Even though like, we've kind of grown up in the area, it's nice to be so close to so many cool things.
Wonderful. All right, so our last question, I think, for the panelists, why don't you share a piece of advice that you would offer to a new student?
Get comfortable trying activities and meeting people that you might not have initially thought you would, initiate a conversation with. Sometimes we're very narrow-minded in the sense of like, if this is my major and this is my ultimate career path, I'm only going to focus on these things and only join these organizations. But surprisingly, like some of the most amazing people you'll meet will be people who have like are never going to be in a class with you, like might be younger, might be older than you. Try different organizations, try different activities that the university holds, because inevitably I know you're going to meet somebody that just like you click with, and you're going to end up having phenomenal like friendships. Friendships aren't built from like camera Zoom conversations. Like you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone and go to those activities.
So the best advice that I ever got was, it doesn't matter where you go, it matters what you do. And so that was from my high school mentor I love UMKC, but it was not my first choice of school. And even though it felt right when I walked on campus, I was like set on going to Duke University, like very far away, out of state. It was my dream school. And that didn't work out. So just like, I think especially for a lot of you who maybe haven't been able to visit campus at all, who like don't really know if this is the number one right choice for you. I think just knowing that like there's so many right choices for you, and it's not just about just like the one college who's gonna like make or break your life. Like it's more about the work that you put into it and the kind of life that you envision for yourself where you end up going. So UMKC has obviously like done me a lot of good. I have no debt, so that's amazing. So just like what you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it, and don't come to college with that mindset that like, oh, last year was awful, like I lost a whole year of high school to the pandemic. Like, yes, it is awful, but like it's your choice what happens when you get here.
I think my biggest piece of advice is just to like take that time for yourself. I know we kind of already talked about like how you balance all of it, but it's super important. You'll burn out super quickly if you don't let yourself relax. And like I think it was Camilla who said an A is an A at the end of the day. Like it doesn't matter. That one test isn't gonna make or break everything. You've got time. So let yourself relax and let yourself be.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to show you all quickly how to find our contact. If you have some more questions, feel free to keep popping those in the chat. I know that we've got a couple lingering right now, but let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so, all right, so this is our main UMKC homepage. So from here in the search bar, you can either search for housing or residential life, and it will take you to where you need to go. There we go. So this is our jumping page. And this is sort of your one-stop shop for any information that you have with residential life. You can find different information on our residence halls. So say you're interested in living in Johnson Hall, you can find some quick facts about Johnson Hall, some photos about the amenities, different features, room measurements. There's another video of the hall tour that you can watch. And then there's also the room layouts. So similarly for Oak Street, those quick facts, the photos, different features, that same video, and then the slew of different room layouts for Oak Street Hall. Along the top, you'll also find places for our rates, our contracts, different student resources, which are super helpful, information about our department, and then how to contact us. But specifically to find our contracts, you're going to go to that second option called contracts. And then you're going to do submit a contract for your 2021-2022 academic year. So you have to be an admitted student to be able to log into here, which I believe all of you probably are currently. So you're going to go to student login. And then what I see will be a little bit different than what you see, but this is what our RuRes portal looks like. And this portal is sort of everything, every form really that you would need to fill out for our department will bring you here. There will be an option up at the top for your contract. Since I am not a student, I don't see that, but it'll be one of these white labels that will jump you to the contract. And there you will fill out all of the information that you need to live with us. You will rank your rooms, specific, like what you want in your room or your residence hall room, and everything like that. There's a little part that asks about, are you a night owl or an early bird, and majors and all of that personal information that we need. So that's how you would find our contract. So do we have any more questions? Let's see, what are some good organizing and storage ideas you recommend?
I got the Alex drawers from IKEA, and they fit perfectly underneath the bed if you like loft it up a little bit. And they've got, how many drawers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drawers, and some of them are thinner and some of them are like deeper. And I found that that works really great. I keep like all my school supplies in there and like all sorts of like hair stuff. I keep like everything in there. That helps super well.
Great. I've also seen several students use like the hanging shelves for your closet to give you a little bit more extra room.
I'm all about lofting the bed. So my bed is completely like 2 beds worth of height at the moment. So I can like fit my like futon underneath. Some people put their desk underneath it. And even if you don't want to put your bed all the way to like the max height where you have to like climb up, even just like keeping it at the like highest point, you'll understand what I mean when you see the bed, like the highest point, but still on the ground, you can still like fit plenty of shelves and like drawers underneath that space as well.
Cool. All right, and then I see a question about our guest policy. Katie, do you want to take that?
Yeah, so we're still working out all of the details. I can give you kind of the historical guest policy and then what we did last year, or this year, I guess. With COVID, we had a pretty strict actual like no guest policy because we were concerned about issues of contagion and what that looked like. However, because things seem to be trending in a positive direction, folks are getting vaccinated. Our UMKC students were very responsible this year in social distancing and wearing their masks. And so I imagine we'll be relaxing those to a certain extent. Historically, pre-COVID, guests were allowed in the facility and they had to check in at our front desks. And by checking in, they had to leave a photo ID. So that way we always knew who was in the facility at all times. And then when they left the facility, they received their ID back. It was up to the students to have a conversation with their roommates and suite mates about specifics on the guest policy. We do not have a limitation on who can be in that space, how many folks. Rather, that onus is on the students. And so we do have a stipulation in the Guide to Group Living that someone's desire to keep their own room private will always take priority over someone's desire to have guests. And so if you are uncomfortable with having 0 guests in that space, you have the right to request that. Now, if you are comfortable with guests, I advise that once you're assigned your roommate and suite mates to have those conversations about, are overnight guests okay? Is it okay if my partner spends the night? Some people are not going to be okay with that, and that's perfectly fine to state that and to expect that that expectation is met. It is okay for my younger sibling to come over for a weekend and experience what UMKC has to offer. Is it okay for a guest to be in the space when I am not there? We do have also a policy in the department that says that guests need to be escorted at all times. And so really those guests should not have unfettered access to the facility. But is it okay for your roommate and their friend to stay in that space when you are not there either? So those are the types of things that we encourage you to have conversations about. We provide on move-in a roommate and suite mate agreement form that we highly, highly encourage you to fill out. It talks about a myriad of subject matters, including guests, who's buying toilet paper, whose responsibility is it to clean the bathroom, so what temperature do you want the suite kept at? So some really kind of simple conversations that if they go unaddressed, that it could potentially cause some concern. So if you need help facilitating those conversations, that's what your student staff members are there for as well. And additionally, folks like Leslie and the other hall coordinators are also there to assist. So certainly I think that that's a really important piece. So again, the specifics on the guest policy are still being hashed out. We're kind of waiting to see if things continue to trend in a positive direction as far as, COVID cases remaining low. And we'll be sharing that information on our socials, hopefully here relatively soon.
Great, thanks, Katie. All right, so I see a question about roommate assignments. So we are accepting contracts now, and it is our hope to be able to do our room assignments in June. So when you get your room assignment, you would also get some information about roommates. Cool. Thank you so much for being such an active group, Katie.
I believe, did we answer the question about recommend having a work study job and off-campus job?
Ooh, no, so sorry I missed that. I would say I'll let some of the students that have had multiple jobs answer that. But I would say as a professional that's on campus and someone who has been in college, I would say give yourself some time before you figure out how many jobs you want. Because while it may look like you have a whole lot of time because you're so used to being in high school classes from 7:30 to 4 or whatever, and you're going to be like, whoa, I have all of this free time. While yes, that is true, the caliber of work that you have to perform once you get to college is going to be a lot different. So I would say give yourself some time before you figure out if you can handle multiple positions, would be my piece of advice. Ease into it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My first semester, I thought it would be a lot easier to adjust than it was. So just like, it takes so much more time to make friends than you think it's going to. If you know people from high school, that's great. But if you don't, I would really invest your time in going to those events, because the first semester is when everyone's going to be looking for friends. It's going to be so much easier to find different groups, to start attending club meetings and to just jump right in. So I would maybe do one job just for your first semester part-time. And then if you feel like second semester or your sophomore year that you can take on more, that's your decision.
I've only ever worked on campus jobs instead of off-campus jobs during the school year. And I am I'm a big fan of them just because they know that you're a college student too. And so they frame your hours around when you can work around your schedule.
Cool.
Yeah, give yourself that time to figure out, like Leslie and Lauren said, figure out where you stand in terms of your college experience before you fill up your plate too much. It's better to slowly add things on than just have mountain full of things to do and then just not enjoy your college experience the same way.
And I would say that if you are a student that has a need for multiple positions, I would also look at other opportunities to get some financial aid. And our financial aid office has a slew of different resources for you, because there are scholarships that there are oodles and oodles of scholarships. So if you have a need base, I would look for some other ways of meeting that need before adding on another job, just so you can still be successful in your coursework. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being active participants. And we went a little bit over, so I apologize on that. But if you have any other questions for our department, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach us at housing@umkc.edu. We also are active on our Facebook page, so if you find us there, feel free to ask us questions there as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your future RU day.